Hey everybody, it's Original Ren. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are returning subscribers, thanks for stopping by. And for those of you that are new to my channel or new subscribers, thank you so much for checking out my channel. This video series is going to be titled Otaku Collecting 101. And while that name is pretty generic and pretty boring, for the most part, these are going to be anywhere from 5 to 10 or a little bit more short length videos that will go over different tips and tricks that I like to use when it comes to serious otaku collecting. A lot of the times there are websites that exist out there such as AmiAmi, Yahoo Auction, Mandarake, etc., that allow you to hunt for different otaku goods ranging from tapestries to figurines to character goods to dakimakura, etc. But a lot of the times, it's very difficult for hunters to find these items if they don't actually live in the country of Japan. Now, I've done a bunch of videos about different Akihabara hunting. I've always been working on that guidebook I've always been interested in doing, which I should start that soon. And for the most part, I try to do videos about being in Japan, but I've never actually done videos more so focused on outside of Japan. And that's what this series aims to do. So let's jump right in. Don't want to waste your time. We'll go right into it. The first topic I'm going to discuss today involves hunting on proxy websites. And the proxy website I'm going to use here today is known as buy.jp. And if you type this into your address bar in your browser, it's just buye.jp. Now, this is a proxy service, and what a proxy service is if you don't live in the country, a lot of the times it's very difficult to hunt for items unless you actually live in Japan. And some websites only allow you to buy those items if you are in the country and have it shipped to you in the country. You can't ship internationally, or you have those items purchased with an actual Japanese account, for example. Now, what a proxy will do is they will allow you to create an account with them, and by paying them some extra fees, they will act as you, essentially. So they are in the country, they do the bidding, they do the buying, etc. And when they get the items shipped to them in Japan, they package the items to ship to you internationally. Now, there are many different proxies that exist out there. Buy is the one I like to use the most, but I know Zen Market and many different groups exist, and some of you may say these are way cheaper, these are way easier to use. This is just the one I find the easiest, so there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to proxy hunting, but I just want to kind of expose people to proxies if you are unfamiliar with them because they're great tools to use. So I'm going to use Buy. And the reason I like Buy is because it's pretty user-friendly. It's pretty easy to understand. And when you go to the main website here, the first thing you're going to do is register for an account. In the top right corner up here, you have registration. By clicking on the register button, it brings up a page that has new registration for new members. You simply just enter your email address, agree to some terms and conditions, proceed with registration. It'll probably send you a confirmation email. It's been a while since I've registered here, so I don't really know the full windows, but it's pretty self-explanatory step-by-step how to get registered. You have a username, you have a password, you have an email address that's set up. The next thing you do is once you register, once you get into the website, you have to set up the actual bank information that you want to use. So I'm going to quick log into my account here. Okay. And I do not care if you guys see my email. No big deal there. Not a huge deal. That's just a generic email I use for buying stuff. I never actually check it. So I log in, and it brings me to my user page. Now, the user page, when you go to my page, has a bunch of different information listed on here. And one of the main things you want to do is set up a payment method. So I go to user information, and I go to payment method. And when I go to payment method, it shows the current PayPal or current account I have activated. Now, you can use PayPal as a payment method. You could set up a credit card, which is what I'm using. And you can also use Alipay, which I don't know what that is. I think that's something within Japan, so I have no idea what that is. But usually, like credit card or PayPal is what you'll set up. So I have successfully activated an account. You have to activate the account, but I don't use the PayPal. I mainly use my credit to pay for it, etc. There's also other features in here that show you like what you're bidding on, what you've bought, what you have refunds for, etc. Frequently asked questions and how to contact the group, but I won't go into too much detail with all that. That's only if it's really needed. This is more just a tutorial on how to get registered and start shopping. After you have checked this out, there's different languages that Buy uses. In the top right corner here, it's automatically set to English, but you can also set it to Japanese, you can set it to Chinese, etc. And there's different websites, Yahoo Auction, Yahoo Shopping, Rakuten, ZozoTown, Amazon as well. You can link it up to Buy. So when you shop on Amazon.jp, there's a little browser link you can use to automatically just shop for an item. Click on the little task toolbar item, like you would with Firefox or Chrome or whatever web browser you use, and it allows you to shop on Amazon for convenience. The main thing we want to look at, though, is Yahoo Auction. Now, Yahoo Auction is a website in Japan that a lot of secondhand folk, just like eBay, will use to sell items, and a lot of this contains otaku goods, as well as other items as well. Pretty much you could find anything you could find on eBay on here. Now, when you go to Yahoo Auction, it's going to have a search bar up here with advanced search tools, etc. that I'm kind of pointing up at here, and you simply type in the search bar what you're looking for. Now, I'm going to search for I'm going to search for a very generic thing. Why don't we start with Gochumon? It's the first thing that comes to my mind. The Gochumon Asagi wa desu ka? Now, when I search for this, even if you are searching in English, you want to search for the actual Japanese title. So what I've done is just gone to the wiki page here. And all I'm going to do is when it loads up, just simply copy the Japanese text. And it's written usually across the wiki page. You could also search for specific character names. You could search for artist names, circle names, titles of shows, whatever it is you're looking for. The more chance you take, the better it is to find something. The easiest way to generically get the best search, though, is by searching the actual title of the show or manga or light novel or whatever it is you're searching for, because that will narrow down the search, and then you can kind of go into more specific detail with it. The more you try to search in the Bai search bar, the less it may find what you're looking for, because it has very specific search terms when it comes to Japanese. So I'm just going to search for Gochumon Asagi wa desu ka, and I hit enter. Now the next thing that's going to pop up is it's going to sort these items by the most popular / newly listed. As you can see in the right corner here, this is the sorting method to use, and this is probably the most popular one to use, as it states there, simply because when you're searching for like Comiket items on days that the artists are there at Comiket, because it's a 3-day event, and mainly the larger, more popular artists are on the 3rd day, what'll happen is you can search for the artist's name, and then it shows their most recent circle items that you can buy, especially when the Japanese time zone's going on. So the best way to proxy that is to remember what times Comic-Con's going on, and just continually hit refresh with the artist name until their items start showing up, and then you can kind of base what you want to bid. And that's how I get most of my Comic-Con items now that I don't live in the country at this time, although I will be going back very shortly here. Now, that being said, you have most popular newly listed. There's other items as well. I usually like to sort by buyout price, high to low. There's prices just high to low straight up, etc. Bids, time ending, so on and so forth. Now, the main things you want to look for is on each item, it'll show if it's newly listed. It'll show the seller's name. It'll show how many bids they have. It'll show how much time is left, the item description, the current price it's at right now if you were bidding on it, and the buyout price if you can just buy it straight out without having to bid. Similar to eBay if you've ever used that. Now, a couple things you want to keep in mind is when you're looking through this, let's just find an item I want to look for. Let's say I want to buy, what's a good item? This Daki. Okay, so you could see the auction price currently priced at 26,000 yen with exchange, and the buyout price are the same. And it shows you Chocolate Cube. Now, if it has an English name, and it's like a Daki, it's probably a circle artist name. And Chocolate Cube, as you are well aware from previous videos of mine, is an actual circle artist. So I click on this, and I actually own this Daki, strangely enough. And you click on this, and it will load up the page. Now, there's a couple things you are looking for when it comes to this. You will have the actual images themselves. You will also have details about the item, how much time is left, and how you can bid or win it for the buyout price. Now, right now, even though I am logged in, I can simply win this item for the buyout price. It looks like because the buyout price is same as the auction price, there's no actual bidding on this item. It really is just you buy it straight out for this price. Now, this is the price that you would be charged on your PayPal or credit card when you buy the item. You win it now for buyout, and you purchase the actual item when you agreed all those terms and conditions. Now, a couple things in regard to that, though. When you do that, and here are just related items down below, you want to keep an eye on the actual seller's rating. So this is the seller's name, and these are their ratings. They have 630 ratings. 633 are good, 3 are bad. So in total, this artist or this seller has had pretty good ratings. Now, this is where you don't really know too much about the actual seller itself, but most Japanese Yahoo Auction sellers are highly rated, and they will not lie about the items they are bidding. They're very specific, just like Mandarake, about the details of the item because they want to get the most money out of it. And they know that when it comes to otaku collecting, especially with otaku users, they're not going to try to jip you out of your money. I guarantee that, because it's rare. It does happen. Sometimes you get Chinese artists or Chinese sellers on here who will try to bootleg you. many different groups that exist, but for the most part, it's pretty believable. It's pretty good to shop on Yahoo Auction. You probably will get authentic items. I've never once in all the items I bought off this, and I could show you a list of all my items if I really wanted to that I've purchased, I have had a bootleg or anything defective on any of the items I've received. They've all been extremely detailed and to the T. So one thing with Docky, though, that's really difficult is you won't really be able to see the image. Sometimes these images are not as good as you want them to be. So what you may want to do is actually just copy over the entire title text and do a search of it back in Google. And the reason I do this is because it'll showcase all the different items that are in there. So when I search this on Google and I go to images on Google, you can find different websites or different browsing images where you can kind of look through and try to find the full image. Now, there's many different items on here. If I searched through this and took the time, I probably could find out what the actual Docky looks like. This is why it's really difficult with Docky, because it's really hard to be able to see the full image because they always fold up the actual image itself. But this is usually a good way to actually like try to find out, hey, what does this actually look like in full? So that's one thing you can do. But going back to the actual website, once you've determined, this is the item you want, you're all good to go, you've looked at the rating, you're set. Next thing you want to do is look at the item explanation. Now, I'm going to use just the generic Google Translate, and this is pretty good. The generic Google Translate is good that it will basically break down what you're looking for if you can't read Japanese or have trouble. So, Miwa Futaba is the actual artist from Chocolate Cube. It shows you all the titles. It's a pretty poor translation. It says no claim, no return. Basically, you can't return the item. It says shipment included, but you don't need to worry about shipment because it's all done by the proxy. Unopened article, basically just saying it's brand new. It's never been opened, so no defects. Okay, and you can hit return. Goes back to your item. Now, the next thing is when you buy an item, a proxy has a fee associated with it. Now, Bai's fee, their standard shipping fee or standard rate fee, I believe, is 500 yen, where they do an inspection of the item, make sure it's the right item you bid on, and so on and so forth. For the most part, in addition to the standard fee for the plan on Bai, you are not only paying upfront the item price, but also the plan fee. And before you actually purchase the item, it'll show you the total cost that you are going to be charged. It will never not show you what you're going to be charged. The only thing it will not calculate at that time is the shipping. Now, shipping also has some fee associated with it as well. For the most part, though, when it comes to Bai, the most I've ever additionally paid for Bai's service is anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 yen, about even exchange, $10 to $15 more. That's not that bad considering if you're a very avid or serious collector and what you're paying for these types of items like I do, you are actually not being charged that much more to be able to use the service. And it's really helpful because you can find extremely, extremely rare items with these services. Now, in addition to the actual price you'll pay up front, the one thing I like about Bai is they will hold onto your items for 30 days past the bid. So you bid on the item, you pay the initial price plus the fee for actually doing the plan on the proxy. They get the item in their warehouse. They send you an email to say, yep, we have your item. We're now ready to ship it. You can look at the shipping costs. And if you say, wait a minute, oh, you know what? I don't have enough money for that shipping. I need a couple paychecks or I need some money to save up to be able to ship this. You can hold on to that item for 30 days. After 30 days, they charge you a 100 yen fee up to an additional 60 days past 30 days. So each day you don't ship it, you get charged an extra 100 yen. And this continues to stack up until you ship it. So at most, you can hold on to an item for 90 extra days and only be charged an extra 60 bucks for it. That's pretty good considering that they're not charging too many late fees to hold on to it. After those 90 days, though, they finally do destroy the item. You get nothing and you end up paying it. So there is a limit to that. But you do get a nice 30 days. This is really extremely helpful when I do shopping at Comiket because I end up paying so much money initially for all the items I'm buying. I have to save up enough money to be able to ship out the items in droves or in sections. So you ship out one set of items, ship out the next set of items, ship out the next. And you usually do it at the most recent items that are expiring up to the most latest items that are expiring with the holding period. That's why I like Bai, because they do have a holding period. Great feature to use. And for the most part, this is essentially everything. I've kind of touched base on everything and how you use it. There's many different tools you can use on Bai. You kind of just have to do some exploring yourself, though, to see what exists there. But you can continue to search and can continue to look through items on different groups. Now, one thing I do want to warn you is if you are going to do a bidding war, like eBay, be careful. Japanese people will get friends, because I think it's illegal or against terms of service to have multiple accounts, that will bid. Now, the way Yahoo Auction works is if somebody wants to cancel their bid at any time, they can do so. If they cancel their bid, the next highest bidder gets the item, which means if you go into a proxy war with somebody and they bait you into bidding higher, they will then cancel their bid right before the auction ends, and you'll end up paying a larger price than what you wanted to. The best suggestion for this is that Yahoo Auction bids in 500 yen increments. Set an item price you want that item to be. In other words, you set the price for 25. Let's say I want to only pay 30,000 yen at most for this. I set my bid, well, if this were a bid, let's say, I set my bid to 30,000 yen. It will go to 26,500 yen. And if anyone outbids that, if they don't go above my 30,000, my bid will automatically bump up whatever they bid by 500 until it reaches my limit. Now, you can change this at any time before the auction ends. That's fine. But this is how that essentially works. There's also sniping bid, which in the last 5 minutes will snipe certain prices for you. For those of you that are avid bidders or have bidded before on certain websites, you probably know all that stuff already, but this is just for first-time users. Set a price you want it at, because you might get it cheaper. Worst case scenario is if somebody outbids you and then cancels their bid, you'll get it for the max price you were willing to pay. It sucks you didn't get it for cheaper, but hey, you still didn't pay over what your budget was. Best thing to do. Anyways, guys, if you have any questions, leave questions in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them. I know this video was a little bit longer. Like I said, I try to keep these pretty short. So thanks for joining me on the first video of this series. Hope you guys enjoyed, and you have a great rest of your time. See you later.